Hello there! I'm Scotty or not, and once again we are back to exploring the MCU. We're looking at Captain America Brave New World, and once again, I feel like I have to defend another one of these movies. I don't get it. I can get some of the hate for those Spider-Man spin-off movies, sure. But, except for the Eternals, which I didn't like because it was boring. A 3-hour movie of characters we never met before. That makes sense. Other than that, I have not gotten the hate for any of these post-Endgame movies at all. That they've come out, people just... It's like every movie now. Oh, MCU's back. No, it's gone. It's back. It never left. It never went anywhere. The fans. I've said this before. It's not the movie maker's fault. It's your fault. The fans at home, it's your fault. Because after Endgame, you assumed everything had to be bigger, better. And what are the big ones that got the most critical responses, right? Spider-Man No Way Home, which went bigger and better. Guardians of the Galaxy went bigger and better. I don't know about Thunderbolts because I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard some criticisms. That one is not as universally liked. Some people like it, some people don't. But the ones that went bigger than better more often got the more, positive reviews, because that's what they think it needs to do now. It needs. But so when they go back to telling an isolated story within the MCU, people shit on it. And they don't like it because that's not what they want. Well, you know what? It's not the fuck about what you want. It's about telling stories. And if I have to hear one more internet reviewer bitching and whining about CGI, let it go. Let it go. I'm sick of all these reviews. Well, CGI was terrible. Too bad. Deal with it. I don't care if it's terrible. I don't care if it's excellent. Stop complaining about CGI. Stop talking about CGI in your review. I'm sick of all the complaining about CGI in people's reviews. Movies good, but CGI sucked. Who cares? It's CGI. It's never going to look good. Never. And if you're thinking, what about Jurassic Park? Yeah, but that wasn't just CGI. There was animatronics in there too. This is full CGI. So, Captain America Brave New World is not just another Captain America movie. It's a sequel to this, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So if you haven't really seen that, you're not going to understand it. So if we eventually watch this with my mom, William and I, or at least we're going to have to explain it. But... yeah. And another thing people have complained about, and this is entirely Warner Brothers' fault. What do they have to do with the MCU? Well, I'll tell you why. The word reshoots gets thrown out there nowadays. And until 2017, it wasn't a problem. Ever since Justice League came out, though, every time the word reshoots get thrown out, everyone says, well, now it's going to suck. They did reshoots. They're ruining it. It's going to suck. And I keep hearing about this reshoots. That means the movie's going to suck. Not necessarily. And from what I saw in this, it's not bad. Movies do reshoots. Sometimes it's a necessity. Sometimes, I don't think the reshoots are the problem. I think test screenings are the problems. Sometimes they don't get the proper age range, like what they did with Halloween 6, which ruined that movie, and the producer's cut is better. But just because a movie gets reshoots, or has to get reshoots, does not automatically mean it's going to suck. Movies have had reshoots forever. But only since the release of Justice League has it now become a problem. Where people are hearing about reshoots and getting pissed because they think it's going to get ruined because that movie has messed with their heads. Nothing to let go. Alright? That being said, this movie is perfectly okay. It's not terrible. It's not the worst thing ever. It's fine. And it's okay to have a decent MCU film. Not every MCU film has to be Endgame level fantastic. It's perfectly fine to have a decent MCU film. And everything except for maybe Eternals has been decent. But people don't care about that. They only care about the big fantastic stuff. Right? Deadpool and Wolverine was another one. Went bigger and went harder. And the only complaint they got was there wasn't really a plot. Yeah, there was. Just kind of sift through all the multiverse stuff that's there. But it's not a very strong plot, but it's there. Here, when we got the, the idea of what this was going to be. The leader was going to be involved. And by the way, in typical comic book movie fashion, they never call him the leader. And to be fair, it wouldn't have made much sense to call him that here. He's just Samuel Stearns. Don't like the design. I don't understand. They even had concept art of his flat top. I don't understand why they needed to have the bubbles on top. What is that? I heard that's reshoots. I don't know. I read something that maybe it was Tim Blake Nelson's doing. I don't know why they couldn't have said a flat top. Hell, the version from the Hulk cartoon where it was like a big bulb thing would have been better than whatever the hell this looked like. And yes, it's another one of those plot threads from the Incredible Hulk that they hadn't come around to till now, and that's because of Universal owning the rights to the Hulk. I guess they could have still used the character. There's other ways they could have incorporated him, sure, but I think for this plot it works. But ultimately, he's not the main villain, which brings me to one of the biggest problems. And it's not with the movie itself. The way they use it is fine. However, if you look at this here slipcover, front and center, Red Hulk. He was in all the marketing. He was all the trailers. Everything was showing you Red Hulk, Red Hulk, Red Hulk. He's at the end of the movie. He's at the end of the movie because it's supposed to be a plot twist. It's supposed to be a plot. It's another one of those things where the marketing ruins the movie because this was supposed to be a plot twist. Everything with the Red Hulk in this movie is leading towards plot twist. First shot of this movie is now President Ross taking a pill for his blood pressure, his heart medication. That keys into what happens. That leads into what happens with the Red Hulk later. A twist, reveal for the end of the movie that turns him into the Red Hulk for the battle. And they plastered it all over everything. And then people went into the movie and obviously got disappointed because he was only in the final part of the movie. And, yeah, I would be disappointed too. I went to see the Red Hulk and he was only... But that's not the movie maker's fault. It's not the director's fault. It's not anyone's fault but the marketing team. Whoever was in charge and said, hey, we know Red Hulk is going to sell tickets. Put that front and center. It's all about the marketing team. That's what it is. It had nothing to do with the filmmaker, the actors, nothing. So don't blame them, then the marketing team. Can't say they weren't wrong. Or can't say they weren't right. To be honest. But yeah, the plot involves Captain America. The new Captain America, Sam Wilson. Who still has wings. It still confuses me because there's also a Falcon. It's Danny Torres from this. And I remember when they said that Bucky was not in this. He is in this. He's got a cameo towards the end of the movie. But they're like, he's not a part of this plot. And I'm like, why wouldn't he be a part of this? He was a major part of the series. Hell, he's in the name. So why wouldn't he be a part of this movie? It makes sense that his character will continue on. I feel like they dropped certain plot elements from the show. His sister is not mentioned once. Sam's sister, who was a big part, trying to, there's a female security member of Ross's team who seems to have a thing with Sam. In the comics, their love interest, but they didn't do anything with it here. There's another character who I guess is a former Black Widow that they never do anything with that. I don't understand why they even included that. The character in the comics is not even supposed to be that, but I guess it's a little bit touchy, that subject. They introduced the Serpent Society, but only call it Serpent because they're cool and hip and gonna call it something easy for people to pronounce, I guess. With Giancarlo Esposito, Gus from Breaking Bad would have to face as Sidewinder. Originally, Seth Rollins was supposed to play a character, and they nixed him from the film. He kept saying that he was gone from the film, and I kept saying, no, bullshit. They say that. They're supposed to say that. You watch the movie, though, he's nowhere to be found. So they did boot him from the film. So, yeah. And the whole opening thing after the president's speech, Ross became the president, and my only problem with Harrison Ford in this is that he doesn't have the mustache. And they put it in the line. They said he was either get rid of the mustache or you can't be president. And I went, bullshit. Taft, Grant, Teddy Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln, all men who had facial hair as president. Why couldn't he have his mustache? And I thought, well, maybe it's because Harrison Ford didn't want to have a mustache. But they show a flashback to him with a mustache. So, what was it? Why were they so against a character who's supposed to have a mustache having a mustache? I don't get it. And would they have let William Hurt keep his mustache if he was able to continue the role? That's my question. I don't know. But I liked Harrison Ford in this. He's good. Which proves that when he actually cares about a role, he can do things. He can actually still do it. Looking at you, Indiana Jones. Yeah, it starts with them talking, and he wants him to. Well, that not yet, but like they go on a mission to take out this Serpent Society, and Sidewinder gets away. But then they're going to this big press conference thing, I think it is, where they're talking about certain things, and they bring Isaiah Bradley with. You don't know who Isaiah Bradley is. He's a character introduced in Falcon and Winter Soldier, who was also a super soldier back in the day, and yeah, that's the whole thing. And here's where we get some conclusion to Eternals. And if you haven't seen Eternals, which I assume most of you haven't, at the end of that movie, one of the Celestials is left floating in the Indian Ocean. And ever since that movie, people were saying, when are they going to do something with that? And every movie that keeps popping up, they haven't done anything with it. Well, just wait. Patience. Have patience. And that's another thing. People talk about post-credit scenes haven't been followed up on yet. Patience. It's not going to happen right away. You have to have patience. People are fucking spoiled. You gotta have everything right away. Just wait. Have patience. Anyway, in this, not only do we find that they get closure on Tiamut, or whatever it's called. They call it Celestial Island. They retcon, and I say retcon, there's no way that he was made of this. When they had this idea, it also doesn't make any sense. We'll get to it. They retcon it, the Celestial is made of adamantium, which, if that's the case, he would have been able to defeat it. But okay, whatever. And so now, in typical Captain America movie fashion, the nations are fighting over it. Specifically, America and Japan. So, yeah. So they're going to sign another accord or treaty so they could share this resource. So, this then brings in an issue with the X-Men, because apparently they're currently working on an X-Men movie. yeah, this timeline won't work. Because you have to have certain things in a story. Unless they're on another Earth, which is not what I hear is going to happen. It's going to be on this Earth. I don't know. And if we're to believe that, well, I guess TVA is not on any one Earth now, is it? But anyway, it just feels like adamantium just should have already been a thing. Like vibranium was already a thing, right? I don't know. I know they didn't have the rights to it, but now they do, and it feels like it should have just been something that was already there, not a new thing, because the timeline for creating Wolverine now is that he'll have to be created in the present, which doesn't make any sense. I guess it does. I don't know. I guess he'll be younger. I don't know. I kind of want someone in their mid-30s to play Wolverine. You need him to be a little bit gruffer, not some 25-year-old dude with abs and... You can have abs, I guess. But Hugh Jackman had abs. But I'm just saying, not some slick-looking dude who's 25 years old. We need someone who looks grizzled and gruff. Someone in their mid-30s to early 40s. Hugh Jackman was in his mid-30s when he played. He was gruff and all that. I'm just saying. But it's here that the song Mr. Blue plays. And that ain't a nail on the head. And Isaiah freaks out along with some other ones and tries to attack the president. And of course, Isaiah gets locked up, even though he says she has no idea how it happened. And you automatically realize that Ross hasn't changed from, even though it's a different actor, it's still the same character. He's lying through his teeth about something. We do eventually find out that he made a deal with Stearns that if he could get him the because they say that the gamma, the Bruce Banner's blood that leaked into his cut made him smarter. And they kept him on the raft, or not on the raft, but on some other secure prison place. And so he made a deal with him to give him heart medication to help him live. Why it took this long to activate, I don't know, but yeah. So after Isaiah's incarceration, Sam is basically booted from this. So in typical Avenger fashion, I'm gonna do it anyway. And this results in Joaquin getting hurt. And watching this, I'm like, why is he's not in this final act at all? And it's like, it was just reshoots. I don't know. I've heard people say it's obvious to notice the reshoots. I guess I wasn't paying enough attention because I couldn't tell. I've heard people say, well, he's standing in front of a green screen, you can tell. I've tried to pay attention and I did not notice, I don't think. I don't know. Maybe my eyesight's not the best anyway, but anyway. Yeah. They eventually capture Sidewinder. They don't kill him. And then, because it ends up on this island, on the Tiamat Island, because both America and Japan want to get it, of course. Because that's what it's all about. Although, Japan is not entirely innocent in all this either, because they shouldn't have just went all willy-nilly to that island to get the stuff anyway. I don't know. But you had this big fight on the island, which I believe does result in Joaquin getting thrown into the Indian Ocean. But they're able to at least bring in Sidewinder. And they had this scene didn't make sense to me. So they have this military guy. And he's supposed to examine these pills that the president has. And he figures out what it is, and as soon as he does, Stearns shows up and kills him. Only for Stearns to turn around and basically tell Sam himself. So why couldn't the military guy tell Sam and we have the same results? We need a scene where Stearns is monologuing? A Bond villain style monologue where he ends up getting captured anyway because he basically surrendered himself. And then out of nowhere, all this other evidence starts popping up. They're like, oh, they captured him and he said that he did this, this, and this. He was literally captured 10 seconds ago. How did you get all this information all of a sudden? He's also set up these speakers to play a conversation that they had. That was pretty fucking quick. I don't know. This does kind of reek of reshoots. I'm not surprised. Because apparently originally John Walker was supposed to be the main villain of Thunderbolts. And he was supposed to have a Hulk bomb in him. And they changed that and put it here. Because that's basically what the pills were. The pills were gamma radiation. And he gets really angry and turns into the Red Hulk. And I guess a lot of people were pissed because Sam just ends up talking him down. But you literally cannot defeat a Hulk. If you not pay attention to anything Hulk related in this franchise, a Hulk is indestructible. Cannot die. The person who turns into the Hulk cannot even kill themselves. Banner says this. He put a bullet in his brain and the other guy spit it out. With a bullet in his mouth and the guy spit it out. He's indestructible. There's no way Sam could have defeated him, no matter how hard he tried. You have to talk down a Hulk. Remember this? Hey, big guy. Sun's getting real low. You have to talk down a Hulk. You can literally not defeat a Hulk. Apparently they do. Will you shut the fuck up? Stupid birds and squirrels chittering out there. Gets annoying. But, like, yeah, apparently they do the same thing with Sentry, and we'll see how that, when I watch it, we'll see how I handle it. Sure. But, yeah. So he's talked down, he's taken in, and then we have a scene with Sam and Bucky where they're talking, and I guess he's running for congressman. I guess it's confirmed with Thunderbolts he is a congressman. Okay. Bucky's not even technically an American citizen anymore. You know, on account of being dead for 100 years. That kind of thing. I guess he can run for Congress. I don't know how the politics work. Maybe that's... Apparently I don't, because look who the president is. Anyway, well, that's not politics. That's idiots voting for the wrong person. But anyway... Anyway, after that, he then talks to Bradley, who gets released, and he's going to move on with his life. And he talks to Ross, who is on the raft now, and he's resigned as president. So I don't know where the president is now, but yeah. And we finally get a cameo after they talked about it at the beginning. And I don't know if this was due to reshoots or this feels like it was. This is the only thing that she's supposed to be in, but when they said they made it big and announced, oh, she's coming back, and it's just like she's a cameo at the end. Liv Tyler as Betty Ross. To be fair, I don't know what other kind of role she could fill. I was waiting for Bruce Banner to show up, which would have made fucking sense, but I don't know. Maybe Mark Ruffalo was busy, or they just never thought to, you know, put the Hulk in a Hulk-related story. Because the whole time I'm watching this, I'm like, well, it's cool to see Stearns back and all this, but the story started in a Hulk movie. And you got that, you got the leader, you got Betty, you got a Red Hulk. Where's the real Hulk? And I know that people say he's ruined now, whatever. But I don't know. At least Bruce Banner could have made a cameo or something. I don't know. It's a little bit thing. Oh, and because at the beginning of the movie, Ross wants to bring the Avengers back, and he even rightfully says, "Hey, you tore the Avengers apart," which is true, and now you want them back. I made a mistake. So now at the end, Sam recruits Torres into the Avengers. So, if you think of the Avengers team right now, from what we have since Phase 4 started, we got Sam, Captain America, Torres the Falcon, Shang-Chi, Hulk, Captain Marvel. Those are the ones we've seen planting seeds. Throw in Ant-Man. He's in there somewhere. You know, he's at a movie. Ant-Man. A lot of people I've heard rumors that Yelena is going to join the Avengers, but she's in the Thunderbolts. I know what they have renamed them after the fact for marketing purposes, but I don't care. I'm not calling them that. It's not official to me. They're the Thunderbolts. I don't care what the asterisk says. Whatever. Oh, they do that all the time. Bullshit. It's something they came up after the fact for marketing purposes, so people will go see the goddamn movie in case it wasn't making enough money. And even though it did better than they thought it would, they still said, fuck it, let's throw it out there. They never intended it to be that. They're never supposed to be that. It's the Thunderbolts. It's a marketing tool. Now I'll watch the movie and it'll be a whole thing. How you know it wasn't reshoots? How do you know? You don't. So then the movie ends, and we get a post-credit scene. Just watch the post-credit scene, which feels like it should have been earlier in the movie when he was at the raft. It was beyond me. And he's talking to him, and basically, because he's so smarty, he calculated that there are people from other worlds who will come, and they'll have to fight, which is setting up Doomsday, I guess. I guess that was still a thing at this point, right? Doomsday? Maybe. I don't know. But, yeah, I didn't hate this. I thought it was pretty good. Although a low one, still pretty good. As far as Captain America movies go, still alright. Still alright. So, what are your thoughts on Captain America Brand New Day? Leave no comments below. And make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.